first things first, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, make sure to subscribe, and if you are not, thank you so much for coming again, friend.
Besos.
At this point, you're my sister or my brother, okay? So thank you, sibling, for showing up again. So we have done pretty much everything in the wash day routine. We're coming to the tail end of the wash day, and I hope so far the videos have been helpful to you. Hopefully you have some clarity, some more understanding on how to take care of your hair on wash day. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at something really important, but also something really straightforward, which is moisturizing our hair. I'm going to take you through what it is, why we do it, when you should do it, the different things to consider, and then I'm even going to show you how. Moisturizing involves two things, which is number one, adding moisture to the hair, and number two, retaining that moisture. Moisture is just water. So in order to moisturize your hair, you need either just water or products that are high in water content. Now, products that have water in them, products that don't have water in them cannot moisturize your hair. But if you just use water and leave it like that, your hair will not remain moisturized because that water will just evaporate from your hair strands. And with the evaporation, they will leave your hair dry again. So this is where things like oils and butters come in. Oils and butters don't have any moisture content or any water content, but they do seal and lock in that moisture. Remember, we said we need two things. We need a source of the moisture, and we need something that will retain that moisture or lock it in. So what happens is when you've applied the moisture to your hair and then you follow it up with these oils and these butters, what they do is they sit on top of your hair strands and they coat your hair strands, locking in the moisture that you've imparted on your hair. Does that make sense? So what we're doing by adding these oils and butters is reducing the rate of evaporation of water from our hair. So this allows our hair to remain moisturized until the next time in our hair care regimen that we are supposed to moisturize our hair. This is a very important question, a very important thing to consider. Now, number one time that we're supposed to moisturize our hair is during wash day. At the time that you have finished doing all the previous steps of the wash day routine, you need to come in and moisturize your hair. But really, when we look at it, put it into perspective, what we're doing is not moisturizing at the end of wash day. It's really locking in the moisture that we have imparted all the way from the beginning of wash day, from the first step, from the shampooing process when we were under the shower and we allowed our hair to take up that nice water, all the way to conditioning where we detangled our hair and so it was able to take up even more moisture, all the way to deep conditioning, which we just did the other day.
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
Where we impart now much more moisture and strength into the hair. Now, when we come to moisturizing during wash day, we're just really locking in the moisture that we have put in. So number one time that we moisturize or we lock in the moisture is during wash day. Number two time that we do so is within the week. Let's say I do my wash day every 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks in between my wash days, I need to find regular times inside those 2 weeks to moisturize my hair again, because obviously the moisture that I've imparted on wash day, even if I lock it in very well, it won't stay there forever. It'll evaporate. If I'm wearing a wig, if I'm wearing a scarf, if I'm sleeping, in my bonnet, whatever, all that moisture will keep rubbing off until it's completely imetoka yote, basically. So I still need to come back and re-moisturize my hair within the week. So those are the two main times that we're supposed to moisturize our hair. In order to know when to moisturize your hair in between those weeks that we're talking about, or maybe you wash your hair every month, so within the month, in order to know when to moisturize your hair, first and most importantly, you need to take into consideration your hair porosity beyond even your hair type. Wacha tuseme 4C, 4B, 3A. That's important to know, but your hair porosity really is the determining factor in how often you moisturize, what products you use to moisturize, what ways you moisturize, the methods that you use. Low porosity hair needs to be moisturized less frequently than high porosity hair. Low porosity hair needs to be moisturized less frequently than high porosity hair. Why is this? Just to give I told you guys I'm going to do a video on how to know your hair type. Basically, I'm going to break it down in that video, but for today I'll just delve a little bit into hair porosity. Your porosity is basically simply just what the English word means, how porous your hair is. Basically how easily your the water goes in and out of your hair is what your porosity is. High porosity hair takes up a lot of moisture quickly, but also loses that moisture quite quickly, whereas low porosity hair takes up a little moisture, only what it requires, but also holds on to it for much longer and releases it much slower. That is why if you have low porosity hair, you're going to consider moisturizing it less often than someone who has high porosity hair. Okay, for me personally, seeing as I have medium to high porosity hair I can say that now. Before I had I had highest porosity hair. Okay, now I have high porosity to medium porosity, which I'm very proud of. And by the way, I never thought you can change your porosity, but imagine it does change. Now, just a side note, with use of protein treatments over time, especially like Ayurvedic protein treatments or natural protein treatments, which is what I use, those areas in my hair strands that had gaps and breakage and damage and the cuticles were lifted up, those products that I'm using, those protein treatments, those Ayurvedic powders, they come and they lodge themselves into the gaps in my hair and make it that much more fortified. So basically there's no gaps anymore. It's like if you have a house that has holes, whatever, you come, you fill it with plaster and paint over it. That's what basically has happened for me. So those areas where there was damage, they've reduced and they've become less over time because of consistent, prolonged use of these Ayurvedic treatments. That's why I advocate for them so much, because I've seen the change in my hair and I know you can see the change in your hair as well. So yeah, someone like me who has medium to high porosity hair, as a general rule of thumb, I moisturize my hair. If it's open and it's just in twists, I'll moisturize my hair every 2 to 3 days. Back in the day, I used to have time. I used to, when I was trying to really rehabilitate my hair, I would do every other day. And mind you, my hair being high, at the time it was very high porosity, so every other day was not too much for me, because I would sleep, wake up again. It's dry like I've never moisturized it in its life. Crazy. But now over time, first of all, I don't have much time. I also see the value of leaving your hair alone most of the time, as long as it's not open, as long as it's not out into the elements, it's not breaking off and rubbing off on things, then you can keep it a bit longer. And then now when you come to moisturize, just be a bit more gentle since it will be drier. But as like I was saying, I've seen that now I can leave maybe 2 or 3 days before I moisturize it again. And again, like I told you, you just go with your schedule. The times you have time, you do a bit extra. But something that I also often do, even let's say if I want to moisturize my hair but I don't have that much time, but I'm feeling it's getting dry, I won't remove it from the twists it's in, because most of the time my hair is in twists or in plaits, but mostly twists. I won't remove it from I won't remove it from the twists that are in, so I'll just take whatever I'm spritzing with, spritz the twists themselves, squeeze that moisture. Okay, if it's water, most times it's just water, squeeze the water. When I start to feel okay, it's damp nicely, take my leave-in conditioner, slap it on, squeeze it in as well, take oil. For low porosity girls, you can just moisturize once or twice a week, because low porosity hair it gets easily product heavy, or the product builds up on their low porosity hair. They'll need to wash their hair before they re-moisturize it, so that you can strip it of all those products and have a clean blank slate to work on. Whereas someone who has high porosity, there's always still kind of a gap where some of the moisture can seep in. So I would say for low porosity girls, just do once or twice a week. For high porosity girls, you can do twice or thrice a week if you have the time, if it works for you, if you have the energy. Again, experiment and see what works for you. Give it enough time, give it enough, pay attention to it so that you know what's working, and then adjust as necessary. Okay, all right guys, so this is usually the protective style that I always have in, like 90% of the time.
What you got up under this? Like, you just snatched it off on camera like I showed it.
It looks like this, and I'm going to show you guys in my next video of protective styling how I get this style. I'm telling you, I've done it for 3 years and it has changed the game for me. So I'll tell you guys why it's the best protective style for me, why it has worked, and why you should also try it as your protective style. I'm going to take it down and I'm going to start moisturizing my hair. Make sure you don't do your hair with rings in at all, because rings can snag your hair. So make sure your nails are filed so that you don't have any pieces that can grab onto your hair, and also make sure you don't have rings in your fingers unless they're completely smooth, but just remove them just to be on the safer side. So I'm taking off my rings. My nails are filed down quite well. I don't like at all to do any kind of manipulation on dry hair. I would suggest the same for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my liquid, my L. This is my L. Make sure even as you're taking down your protective style that you moisturize the hair a little bit before you begin. Okay, at least for me that works best, because when it's dry hair it just easily snaps off. So I like to start by at least spritzing just a little bit of my L onto the hair and then I take it down. Oh, my L, by the way, is, remember in my previous video I infused some fenugreek water for my deep conditioner? That's my L for today. It just has like 20% of that fenugreek water and then 80% is just water. So because the fenugreek has a bit of a strong smell, and so I want a bit of its benefits but not too much of the smell. So I mix, it looks like urine, but it's not urine, okay? It's just water and fenugreek water. As we moisturize our hair, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 2 main methods of moisturizing hair in the natural hair community. Then I'm going to tell you guys which one I prefer, and I'm going to tell you guys which one I'm going to be doing today. Yeah, that always feels great. Once I've opened my protective style, I usually have my twists in cornrows. Don't worry, I'll show you guys how to do it in my next video, but I'm sure you can figure out how I did it. And then now I just, before even I begin opening each individual twist, I spritz it again with my L. Okay, so I spritz again with my L just to get the hair to become damp and the cuticles to start lifting, and just for it to feel less dry. So oh my gosh, you guys, there's those new, okay, not new anymore, but they were once new quite recently, those continuous misting bottles, the ones that just go like, I can't wait to get one of those. If you have that continuous mister, I feel like it works so well. It just distributes just the right amount of water. It doesn't do like maji mingi. If you have low porosity hair, what you can do in this step before you begin, let's say you're beginning with your hair open completely, not in twists like mine, you can first steam your hair if you have a steamer, or you can just spritz your hair with warm water. This is for low porosity girls because your cuticles are laying down, so they need a bit more help to lift up. So if you spritz them with warm water, inazifungua a bit better and a bit faster. So you can do that, or you can steam your hair first. So you can just go steam your hair. If you have one of those facial steamers, you can use that, and then your cuticles will open, your hair will begin to feel nice and damp. And then you can section it, and then now you can moisturize it. But yeah, as you can see, my hair is high porosity, so you just put some water, you start to see in a layer. So basically the water is penetrating quite easily, whereas someone with low porosity may take even longer and need probably more product before their hair starts to respond to the moisture. And then I'm going to use a hair tie to just tie them back. Okay, so just tie it back and then start with one section. So like I said, this is my L, which is water mixed with fenugreek infused water. So it's basically fenugreek infused water but at a low concentration. And then for my C, this is my cream. You guys already know about this, or at least I mentioned this in my very first video. This is the Cantu Shea Butter Leave-In Conditioning Repair Cream. They have a new packaging, super cute, new look. I love this product. It's so long since I used any other product. This one works so well for me and for my hair type. And then for my O, I told you guys about my Ayurvedic infused oil that I make for myself at home. So that's what I'm using. And then like I said, for my ends I use butter. So this is just raw shea butter. I've made my own Ayurvedic butters with this. I've used it for my ends. I've used it plain. I've mixed it into oils to make, infusions. Girl, get you some shea butter. So I use shea butter on my ends, even raw, just like that, without it being infused with anything. It doesn't really have a smell. So yeah, that works well to seal my ends. Those are the 4 products I'm going to be using today to moisturize my hair. Yeah, So first things first, I'm going to open this one section. Ooh, the hair feels nice. I think I need to trim soon because the ends are starting to look a little nappy. But yeah, it's doing really well. There are two main methods that are used in the natural hair community to moisturize the hair, like I was telling you guys. Number one is the LOC method, and number two is the LCO method. L stands for liquid. It has to be water or something that has very high water content. So water, aloe vera juice, or water that's been infused with something, with some Ayurvedic herb or something like that. But it has to have high water content, okay? C is cream or conditioner, which really is the leave-in conditioner, not the conditioner we use to detangle our hair. Leave-in conditioner. So L is liquid, C is cream, and then O is oil, okay, which is the oil that I was showing you guys, this, okay. The products that you actually use in as L, C, and O may vary. Your L may be different from mine, but you have to have an L. Your O may be different from mine, but you have to have an O, and so on and so forth. And in LOC, it's the same thing, liquid, oil, cream. So some people will use liquid first, cream second, oil third, and some people will use liquid first, oil second, and cream third. I personally have always used LCO, liquid, cream, and then oil. That's what you're seeing me do right now. Now I'm applying the cream. I always apply a generous amount on the ends because obviously we know they're the driest. They need the most moisture. And I'm very heavy-handed with products, especially because I'm a high porosity girl. I use a lot of product just so that I ensure that my hair locks in enough product. Lastly, I use my O. Now as for the O, I get some and apply first to my scalp. Oil is very good for your scalp to stimulate growth and to infuse the benefits that are in whichever oil you're using into your scalp and into the hair that's coming up, into the new hair, into the roots, okay? So I start with the roots and then I go down to the ends and I just kind of carry that oil down all the way to the ends. Now it looks like I'm tugging my hair with nanguvu. Every time I watch myself back, I'm like, hey, I was pulling that hair, but I'm really not pulling it that hard. So make sure you're not pulling too hard, but also make sure you're making sure that each strand gets enough of the product. Take your time with it. That's how you show your hair that you love it, and hair that's loved will grow. And then after that, all I do is I twist the section back up carefully with low tension, and then when I'm coming closer to the end, I get some of my butter on my fingers like that, and then I apply it to the ends as I go down like that. This is how I've done it for so many years. Boom, okay? I also wanted to mention to you guys, as a general rule, high porosity girls need to use thicker products for their hair, and then low porosity girls need to use products that are more milky, more runny, more light, because they're more penetrative, and us, we need products that kind of sit on the hair so that they get taken up slowly. So that's why a product like this one, a leave-in like this one, which is thick and in a tub, you see it doesn't even pour. Alafu imwagike. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, thick products like these in tubs work very well for high porosity girls, medium porosity girls, whereas products that are in a bottle that you just flip over and pour like this work better for low porosity girls, because that means that the product is lighter, obviously, because this one can't, even if you put it in a bottle, it won't come out. You'll have to do like this. That's just a general rule, but more importantly, even more than looking at the consistency of the product, is looking at the ingredients of the product. Each porosity has products that work well for them. Oils like castor oil, butters like shea butter, oils and butters that are thicker in the ingredient list should appeal more, or should be looked out for more by high porosity girls. Low porosity girlies, you need to look for things that are lighter, jojoba, argan, olive, that are lighter and are more moisturizing, rather than oils that are strengthening or sealing type thing. Also make sure that for high porosity girls, you're making sure that you're seeing those humectants, that honey, that glycerin. Make sure you're looking out for that. If you're a low porosity girl, make sure that your product doesn't say strengthening lotion for dry, damaged, brittle, weak hair. No, girl, don't use that, because your hair is going to have protein overload, which means it's going to be over strengthened, which means it's going to become dry and unmanageable, and it will break off. Look for things that say more of moisturizing, hydrating, things like those. That's what you guys should be looking for as low porosity girls, while us, we need to look for things that, you know, are strengthening, restorative, things like that, but also moisturizing. Of course, there's a balance, but I'm just saying what you should look out for more according to your hair porosity. Okay, all right, so I've finished doing the LCO side, as you guys can see. Okay, there's one more back here. So now I want to do the LOC side, and then I'll come back and tell you guys how it's feeling, and that will be a wrap actually. So yeah.
Alright, y'all, you already know what time it is. I'm about to give my 3 special shout outs, but look how locked in I am, completely invested in what I'm watching. Girl, I can't even remember what it was. I think it was some interview. But anyways, I want to give my 3 shout outs to 3 special people in the comments. I'm gonna breeze through these real quick. First, we have Prolific Sun. He says, I guess I never had to blink watching this video. It was so lively, educative, and well edited. Girl, you better keep going hard. Well, thank you so much. Best believe I will keep going hard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then next we have somebody named Caroline Griffin, and she is kind of suggesting to me to use a cheesecloth or a knee-high like pantyhose as a strainer. Here in Kenya we call it tight stocking. I have reasons why I don't use the tights option, but I've not tried cheesecloth, so thank you for the suggestion. I will check and see if I can get that online and try and use that. And then lastly we have somebody named Jennifer, and she says she just found my channel and she just subscribed. Thank you, girl, for subscribing. And she's telling me I'm a great teacher. And but she's saying like basically she wants to see the full wash day in one video. So definitely I have that in my video suggestions to do a full wash day in one video, just so that everything kind of comes together. Because I've already done the series to break it down, I'll just put the full wash day in one video, different from the first video I did, because y'all already know I did that before, but I can do it again, maybe like a quicker version, like if you're running out of time. And so yeah, keep watching, keep telling me what you think, and again, I love you all and I appreciate you all. Mwah. Here I'm just showing you guys a close-up of the moisturized twists. That's how you know basically that it's moisturized well. It's going to be bouncy. You'll see the curls pop kidogo, and it's gonna be a little shiny.
Yo, one thing I forgot to mention, by the way, is when you're done moisturizing your hair with just the oil that's already in your hair, or you can take a little bit more in your fingers, just go ahead and massage your scalp very gently for about 5 to 10 minutes. The longer the better, because massaging your scalp helps the blood flow to be increased to your scalp, and blood flow is one of the things that enhances hair growth. So just go ahead and massage your hair, massage your scalp, not your hair but your scalp. Don't forget especially the edges. The closer you are to the front of your head, the more fragile those hairs are, and the more attention they need. So you just go ahead and massage. If you have a scalp massager, you can use that as well, but even your fingers just work fine. And then if you'd like, you can invert your head, which means just bending forward like this, because again that now helps the blood to rush to your scalp. And then as you massage like that, you're just distributing, you're making sure every area gets blood flow to it. So that's something I forgot to mention to you guys. I always just do it, so because I wasn't recording at the time, I did it and then I finished. So make sure you do that and you will enhance your hair growth. Alright, girlies and boys, we've made it to the end of yet another video. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially to the end. Babes, thank you. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode of Demystifying Wash Day, which is going to be actually our last or second last, because I feel like I might need to split the last video into 2. But anyways, you stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a banger. I'm going to show you guys. It's going to be about protective styling. I know a lot of us really have heard that this is where it's at when it comes to growing your hair. Protective styling, da, 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 da. But there's also a lot of confusion and questions around it. Don't worry, your girls got you, okay? I got you. Make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. Make sure to like the video if you did like it and share it with your friends. And again, leave me a comment down below if you want to get a shout out from me. If you want to get a shout out, leave for me a comment. We're continuing on this journey. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you're enjoying the series so far. Yeah, stay safe. Peace.